Alright, for those of you that follow us, we harvested these Jerusalem artichokes a week or two ago. I was asked a few times how we eat them, so I want to show you how we make breakfast with those. Fresh peppers from the garden. Well, they're not fresh. We harvested those a few weeks ago, but they're still good and fresh. Some mushrooms that we harvested from our shiitake logs the other day. An onion that we harvested from our garden. And some garlic that we minced up last weekend that you saw us do. Also some farm fresh eggs, not from here, but they're farm fresh nonetheless. So I'm going to show you how we cut them up, clean everything, and fry it up. Okay, so I just grab a knife and a cutting board and cut them, slice them. Usually just slice them up. Don't worry about peeling them or anything else. And just slice them fairly thin so they fry up nice. They get crispy and crunchy. They're almost like a potato. You can see when you cut them, you can eat them raw. They're not bad raw, but they're almost like a potato, but they're sweet. Not a sweet potato, but just sweeter than a potato. I like to keep them fairly small size so they fry fairly consistent. Otherwise, there will be different sizes for. So what we did was we washed them off before we cut them up. I'm throwing them in a colander right now. You can't see them, but they're in a colander. So after I cut them up, I'll rinse them off good in the sink. We'll finish cutting these up and I'll come back to you here after a bit. So, all right, so I got them all cut. I'm gonna wash them off. Let's just put them in a colander so you can wash them good. That's the reason I use the hose. These are pretty clean. It was pretty dry when I harvested them, so they're not real dirty. But them skins that's on there is fine. They're not gonna hurt anything. These do take a little while to cook. So you probably want these and your onions in right away. So, but yeah, that's all we do to wash them. Just cut them up about that size, bite size, and wash them good. Wash them beforehand too, because they've got dirt on them from being out in the garden. That's pretty much all we do to clean them, cut them up, clean them. So we're going to finish cutting stuff up and I'll show you how we cook it all here in a second. Alright, I'm going to start cooking the onions and the sunchokes before I cut the peppers and the mushrooms up. So always put a little olive oil in your pan. You don't have to use olive oil, but that's what we use. Seems like that's a pretty good go-to. I should turn the stove on, shouldn't I? Just pour those in. Scoop in the onions. And grab a spoonful or two of garlic. Probably just one spoonful, just a teaspoon. Oh, it still smells good. I wish you guys could smell that on there. I'll put in about that much. Fair bit of garlic, but garlic's good for you, so might as well eat it up. Turn it down a little bit, about medium heat. I can't speak for everybody, but I always use a metal spatula when I cook. I don't know why, but that's just what I always use. We'll lay that out about fairly flat on there and stir it every little bit. You know how to stir it every, I don't know, a couple minutes or whatever. We're gonna finish cutting up the mushrooms and peppers, and we'll get back to this in a minute. Earlier when I was introducing what we was using in our mix, I said shiitakes from our shiitake logs. These here are shiitakes. That's a little bit past its prime, but it's still good. That's pretty much how you want them to look when you harvest them. Yeah, they're just growing on a log. This one right here is actually a wine cap. We grow these too. They grow out of mulch. Wood chip mulch is where we grow these from. They're really good as well. Garden giants, they've been called, King Stropharia. They're pretty good. This is almost too big to, well, not too big, but I've had them bigger than this before, but the collar is starting to change because of the light. They're like a burgundy looking collar, look like wine. Yeah, so that's why how they got their name, wine cap. But this is wine cap, the rest are shiitakes. When you cut them wine caps up, they get they're white flesh with, I don't know, they're so purple, but it looks almost black on that camera, but yeah, they're really good. I like them cooked, I don't like them raw, but they're pretty good. So just chop them up like that. Then the shiitake, you just cut them the same way. I harvested these mushrooms probably close a week ago. They've been in the fridge in a paper bag. That's how we store them. We got a little bit more left, but we won't get any more this year. We got some oysters we're going to grow in the house this winter, but I'm going to start them here in a few days. So. But that's how we cut our mushrooms. All right, so we've been on for probably 8 to 10 minutes. Everything's starting to soften up a little bit. They're still not done, but I will turn the heat up here after a bit and get them fried a little harder. I like them kind of crispy. So they're like animals, put the peppers in. These peppers are, some of them's bell peppers, some of them's Marconi peppers. Both of those, California Wonders, the bell peppers, they'll actually turn red if they're ripe. And the Marconis will turn reddish when they're ripe. But it was getting too late in the year for them to finish ripening up, so we had to pick them when they were still small. But just so you all know that no pepper's green when it's ripe. All peppers change to either red, orange, or yellow. Some of them actually get purple or black even. But yeah, most people eat green peppers. The reason farmers grow green peppers is because they get more production per year when they pick them before they're ripe. They plan on wanting to produce more peppers that way. But just a little FYI. I'll stir these in and I'll put the mushrooms in a few minutes. Alright, so it's probably been another 5 minutes since I was with you, so it's time to put in the mushrooms. You see me cut some of those up a minute ago, but I'll let those go for, see the spores? That's from the wine cap. The black spores in there, purple. They're purple really, but they look black on camera. But I'll let them in there for a couple minutes, and then I'll put some eggs in there. The eggs actually, they're not our eggs, but they're farm fresh eggs. All right, so I got all that stuff stirred in good. Everything's looking really good, smelling really good. Now it's time for the eggs. I'm not a real good egg cracker, but the eggs are, they're farm fresh. They're not our farm fresh, but they are farm fresh. Just put them in. Always keep your eggshells too. Don't ever throw them in the garbage can. We always keep ours. We'll grind them up. I'll either feed them to our composting worms, or I'll just put them right straight in the garden. Good source of calcium. Just let them set for a couple seconds and stir them up. And I'll just kind of keep mixing them. Trying to keep mixing everything together. Then when the eggs are done, this is ready to eat. We usually don't eat toast with it. Sometimes we will, but not normally. I'll turn the heat up a little bit. You can only smell how good that smells. All right, I'll come back to it in a minute. All right, so it's done on the plate. I don't know if you can see how good you can see it in this kitchen. It's kind of dark, but for the video, but eggs and peppers and everything's fresh out of the garden, except the eggs. Like I said, we bought these off a local farmer, but they're still farm fresh. But man, is that delicious! If you could taste that, you would know why we grow so many Jerusalem artichokes. We eat this probably twice a month throughout the winter until we're empty. But if anybody wants any Jerusalem artichokes, let us know. We'll give them to you. $3 a quart. So, till we meet again, take care and God bless. Are you ready for some foosball?
Yep.